to me, the best home is, you're watching a bird in the tree, and so you write a poem about that bird, about that sensation and experience and what comes from that, but you never mention the bird or the tree. It's so you're always you're trying to create what you either felt, sensed, saw, or think, without telling. And that's always it, right? That telling. That's the thing in film, right? Show, don't tell. Same thing in writing. Same thing in fiction or poetry. Show. Suggest. Don't tell. Don't. And that's my biggest thing for writing. I want to, because I'm a thinker. I want to expound. I want to tell you what it was like. But I have to show you. That's the hardest thing to do. So, the more opportunity you give people to draw these conclusions themselves, decide when he's reporting or myth-making or searching, yet you don't tell them that. You know what I mean? You show them that. And you let them find that rhythm themselves without going myth, search, seeking, whatever. So I'm not against, obviously we talked with this about Adam Curtis. I like titles. I like text on image to have the story, but I don't want it to wouldn't want to direct my audience to think anything specific. I think it's almost like a conundrum. You do want to provoke thought and feeling and emotion from your audience, but you don't want to restrict it. You don't want to tell them what to think, what to feel. You just want to give them the chance. And the more chance you give them, really, the more successful you are, the more they'll walk on with crazy ideas and feelings that have nothing to do with what you meant. You know what I mean? Then they're kind of successful. Really, I think. I was reading just yesterday was a sick class of Harkat talk, Nobel Prize winner. And he was saying, I love it when their interpretation of what I've written is just so alien to what I have thought ever or was intending. That means I really gave a rich text for them to go into their mind and imagination and create something that's beautiful, right? If you throw a bunch of seeds into a garden and a whole bunch of different plants grow, it's like, whoa, what? I didn't know those were a mixture of seeds, but maybe there's magic in them. I don't know, Anyway, yeah, I really think it's about providing the opportunity to think whatever they want. But of course, with what you're talking about, how do I structure it so I don't lose them? That too is very important. you can't lose them. You gotta keep them wanting to read or watch in order to have that experience. But I think how you keep them wanting to read and watch is that happening in me as I'm watching? Am I telling myself the story as I'm watching? Am I engaging? Am I interacting? It's not just passive. Oh, this is telling me everything I want to hear. No, it's like you're thinking along with it, you're conversing with it as you're watching it, right? Yeah, it's like conversation, I think. And I feel that really purely when I look at painting or sculpture. When I look at one item, object, material, work an artist has created, and I spend time in front of it, and I don't want to move away. And it's not, I don't think, sometimes I think, how did they do that? But that's not the rich experience. The rich experience is a story develops in my mind. Who is this person? Or this place where he was at? Why? And I wonder why that small tree is in the back. Whatever. I mean, like, where you're engaged. You become part of the story, and you want to fill it out, and you're giving your own to it. You're making your own that way. And that, I think, is the greatest thing the artist can do. Not truth. Oh, an artist that thinks a truth teller, that's bullshit. It's like you're giving an opportunity for someone to experience something like what you do when you perform the alchemical practice of creating. You're giving them a chance to create. And you, in cooperation with your work. So, yeah, the more you can allow them to do that, again, I guess the one thing I keep wanting to emphasize is every chance. And so that's why poetry is a very economical medium, illustrates that so well because every word, every line break, every syllable, and all the form of a poem that is usually relatively short compared to the writing should be about that. A new possibility for them to create more from what it is. And really to rebel against anything you might have intended. Take it over. Giving them the opportunity to make it their own. Yeah, I don't know. My last one now would be, and I think that's why I saw a lot. Poetry has given me the chance, or learning to read poetry has allowed me to read other work like a long, dense novel without doing what I think the author wants me to. And you go, I must read every word and understand every plot point, follow every... No, I'm gonna appreciate and invest where I want to. And if by the end I miss some, which of course you have, any great book you could reread 10 times and it'll be different for you. But it's like a reading is a reading. It's not the book. which is kind of, wow, I'm getting in the weeds, but anyway, I think the artist should be creating freedom. Freedom for the viewer to escape wherever they came in with, whatever concerns. I don't mean escape like in the Marvel Universe. I mean escape into their own imagination. And maybe the Marvel Universe does that for some people, but I want that imagination to be as close to the creative imagination as possible. So they have to really get outside the linear, logical mind and enter the abstract and the creative, the revolutionary, the part of the mind and the self that just is not really allowed in most of life. And walk out with that exhilaration. Wow, I have an experience that I don't normally have. So in that sense, yeah, I would say, I just noticed, and I got on a ramble. I would say the least that you guide the viewer. Well, also the trick, right? You're putting a hell of a lot of work in structuring the piece so that there is guidance, but you don't want them to be aware of that guidance. You know what I mean? And your guidance is not, I want you to think this, I want you to understand this. That should not be the goal. The guidance should be, I want you to experience this in whatever way, the best possible way for you. Right? And that's tricky because everyone's different. So the more people you can get to have their own unique revelatory experience with your work, the more successful you are.